Diane Whipple was a prominent figure whose life was tragically cut short in an incident that shocked the nation. Born on January 31, 1967, in Princeton, New Jersey, Diane was a dedicated athlete and a well-respected lacrosse coach. Growing up, she showed exceptional talent in sports, particularly in lacrosse. She became a two-time All-American lacrosse player in high school, which earned her a scholarship to Penn State University. Diane's prowess on the lacrosse field was undeniable, and she quickly became one of the standout players on her team. Her talent would also secure her spot on the U.S. Women's Lacrosse World Cup team. After her college years, Diane moved to San Francisco, California, where she began a new chapter in her life as the women's lacrosse coach at St. Mary's College of California. Known for her enthusiasm, dedication, and compassionate nature, Diane was beloved by her students and colleagues alike. Her commitment to her team and her passion for the sport were evident in everything she did. Her life seemed to be on a promising trajectory until one fateful day in January 2001, which changed everything. On the 26th of January 2001, Diane was attacked by two dogs in the hallway of her apartment building. The dogs, named Bane and Hera, belonged to her neighbors Marjorie Knoller and Robert Knoll. These dogs were a rare and powerful breed known as Presa Canario. The Presa Canario is a Spanish breed of large dog similar to a Mastiff. It originates in the autonomous region of the Canary Islands and is found mostly in the islands of Gran Canaria and Tenerife. It was formerly known as the Dogo Canario and was traditionally bred to be used as a guard dog and a herding dog for both sheep and cattle. But it was also used for dog fighting, which was legal in Spain until 1936. Needless to say, these dogs are very large and powerful, with the males reaching up to 26 inches at the shoulders and weighing up to 150 pounds. And to keep these dogs in a city apartment would be a decision that would soon prove to have devastating consequences. The attack occurred as Diane was returning home from a trip to the grocery store. As she was walking down the hallway with her grocery bags, she encountered her neighbor, Knoller, with the dogs. Bane, the larger of the two dogs, suddenly lunged at Diane. Despite her efforts to fend off the large dog and Knoller's attempts to control it, the attack quickly escalated. Bane's powerful jaws and immense strength overpowered Diane, leading to severe injuries. The hallway of the apartment building turned into a scene of horror as the attack continued. Neighbors who heard the commotion tried to intervene, but their attempts were futile. Diane was dragged and mauled by the dog, suffering catastrophic injuries to her throat, face, and body. The severity of the attack left her with little chance of survival. Emergency responders arrived swiftly, but despite their best efforts, Diane succumbed to her injuries shortly after arriving at the hospital. She was just 33 years old at the time. Bane was euthanized immediately after the attack. Hera was seized and later euthanized in January 2002. In the aftermath of the attack, a wave of shock and outrage swept through the community and the nation. The focus quickly turned to the so-called owners of the dogs, Marjorie Knoller and Robert Knoll. It was revealed that they were not actually the initial owners of the dogs. The dog's true owner was a man by the name of Paul Schneider, who was a high-ranking member of the prison gang called the Aryan Brotherhood. At the time of the attack, he was serving a life sentence in Pelican Bay State Prison. Schneider and his cellmate Dale Bretches were attempting to start an illegal Presa Canario dogfighting business from prison. They initially asked acquaintances Janet Coombs and a kennel owner and breeder named James Colber of Akron, Ohio, to raise the dogs during their incarceration. Against Colber's advice, Coombs chained the dogs in a remote corner of the farm, which caused them to become even more aggressive. After Coombs fell out of favor with Schneider, Schneider's lawyers Marjorie Knoller and Robert Knoll agreed to take possession of the dogs. They had become acquainted with Schneider while doing legal work for prisoners and had adopted Schneider, then aged 38, as their legal son a few days before the mauling. In March 2001, a grand jury indicted Knoller and Knoll. Knoller was indicted for second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Knoll was indicted for involuntary manslaughter, and both faced felony charges of keeping a mischievous dog. The trial began in January 2002, and Knoller argued that she had attempted to defend Diane during the attack. However, witnesses testified that Knoller and Knoll had repeatedly refused to control the dogs. A professional dog walker testified that after she told Knoll to muzzle his dogs, he told her to shut up and called her offensive names. An acquaintance of Noel's testified that Noel did not apologize after the dog Hera bit him a year before the attack. Ultimately, the jury found both Noel and Noller guilty of involuntary manslaughter and owning a mischievous animal that caused the death of a human being, and found Noller guilty of second-degree murder. Their convictions were based on the argument that they knew the dogs were aggressive towards other people and that they did not take sufficient precautions. Whether they had actually trained the dogs to attack and fight remained unclear. After Noller's and Noel's convictions in 2002, the State Bar of California suspended their law licenses. Noller resigned from the bar in January 2007, and Noel was disbarred the following month. On September 14, 2003, Robert Noel was released from prison and died of heart failure in a La Jolla nursing home on the 22nd of June, 2018. Marjorie Noller is still serving time in prison. She will be eligible for parole in 2026. Diane Whipple's partner, Sharon Smith, succeeded in suing Noller and Noel for $1.5 million in damages and donated some of the money to St. Mary's College of California to fund the women's lacrosse team. In the years following Diane's tragic death, her legacy has been honored in various ways. Her family and friends have worked tirelessly to keep her memory alive, advocating for stronger laws to prevent similar tragedies. Scholarships and lacrosse tournaments have been established in her name, ensuring that Diane Whipple's passion for sports and her dedication to her community continue to inspire others. Diane Whipple's story is a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of responsibility and safety in our communities. Her untimely death serves as a catalyst for change, pushing for better protection and awareness to prevent such devastating incidents in the future. While Diane's life was tragically short, her impact endures, leaving a lasting legacy of love, dedication, and a call for justice.